Hey everyone, this is Lisa from TRW, and in this video I am going to be using the print and cut feature of the Select Cameo to make custom Christmas gift tags. Now the best part is that not only am I going to be making tags, but we are also going to be foiling them. So this uses the TRW Magic Foil, and we printed these with a laser printer, and it is heat activated onto the toner. Alright guys, so I'm in Silhouette Studio. Now I kind of started this to begin because really I just wanted to pick out a font that I liked before I recorded myself looking at fonts. So up here I have this font called Falling Slowly. It's a font that I purchased a while back. Now the cool thing about doing a print and cut and doing foil is that you have more flexibility on the fonts that you're going to choose. A lot of times fonts that are kind of thinner are really difficult to do in vinyl because really they're just hard to weed out. They're hard to keep down. But because this is all printed, we have more flexibility, so I really enjoy that. So I have this as Falling Slowly, and then I have our names in a font called Braden. So what I did is I typed Nick and Lisa in one text box, and I typed From in a separate one. Now the reason why I do that is for a few different reasons. I want to be able to have my fonts different sizes if I want it to be that way, but also I can really control how they align, how close they are. So I have these in two separate boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up groups so I can do alignment. So let's go ahead, take From Nick and Lisa, and we're going to go over to our align tool up at the top. I'm going to left align it just to make sure they're aligned right on each other. And now I'm going to right click and I'm going to group them. So now these are all together. I don't have to worry about it. And I'm just hitting Control Z to go back. So now I just want the names to be centered in my tag. So I'm going to select both of these, and then I'm just going to go right here and center. So we're all set there. And now I'm just going to set this up to be centered on there. So I'm going to select both of these, go right here, and center that. So now we're just going to do some basic setting up. So I want to make sure that I'm ready because I'm actually going to print this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my page. So we're going to make my page 8.5, 8.5. Then down here, let's change it to 11 because I'm printing it on printer paper. And now we want to make sure that we have a cutting mat turned on, so we're going to do our Cameo. So now you can see that over there. So now we're just going to kind of keep into an account how big this tag is. I think I want to do larger tags. This is like 5 inches tall. I might take my entire design and then just shrink it down to maybe like 4.5 inches tall. But I want these to be like, you know, notable. I want them to stand out. So I have my name here, and now I'm going to draw a little circle for my tag to go through. I want to make it as easy as possible. So let's go right here. Let's go to our shape tools. Here's my circle. I'm going to hold down Shift, click and drag, and we're making a perfect circle. So now I can take that, move that up here, and I'm going to go ahead, use my mouse, click and drag, get both of these, and then center that in there. So now I have my little circle, I have my name, and then I have Nick and Lisa. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a bunch of copies because I need to do a lot of these. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to hold down I have this whole thing selected here, hold down the Alt button, click and drag, and I have another one here. And then I can't fit one there, unfortunately, so we're going to go ahead and bring this down here. And to maximize my space, I'm going to use this little green dot to rotate. Hold down Shift, it'll lock it in place. So now I have that right there. And I can kind of bring that really close. But honestly, the way that these are sized, it doesn't really matter. So we're just going to keep doing it this way anyway. So we're going to bring this like that. And now, honestly, because I can't fit any more on there, I'm just going to delete those and just make a copy of both of these, bring it down like this, so I can maximize my space. So now I just need to set up my new names. So we're going to change this, and we're going to make this James. And so for some of these, you may have to adjust them a little bit because you have different length names. We'll do Chris. And we'll do Cam. And some of these will have to fix the alignment, so just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to do those 4. I have more that I need to make, but it's boring to watch me make tags. So now the next part to make sure we're doing this correctly is we have to adjust our cut and no cut settings. All right. So we can print right now, but I'm not going to quite yet. So let's go to our send panel. And if you look at this, everything in here has a bold red line, which means that it will all cut. We're actually not going to cut the names in here. We're only going to cut the outline. So what we can do is we can click on our names and we're going to hold down Shift to grab multiple things at a time. And I'm still in my cut settings. You can see it over here. So we have all of these options over here, and so we have items selected. So that's one thing to keep in mind is when you have items selected, these settings on the side here are going to default to that. So we're going to change this to no cut. So check it out. If we were to go and cut this, it would cut these lines right here, but not cut that. So now we're all set in our cut panel. We have just a couple more things to do. This next step, I should have done at the very beginning, but I forgot. So we're going to take this over here, bring this down a little bit. And now that I've noticed it, I want to grab these little circles. I forgot those. So I'm just going to copy, paste. You can see they pasted right here. I'm just going to bring them right here. So now that we have the cutting part done, we need to set up our page for the printing part. So we're going to go over here. We're going to choose this right here, page setup. It's the third one, registration marks. We're going to turn them on. Now, piece of advice that I totally forgot when I started doing this, you want to set up your registration marks first, because if you notice, I have a lot less space to work with because I have this little square here and these gray areas. So just keep that in mind. Do that first. Don't do what I did. I got a little too excited. And so I'm bringing my design to be inside the gray area, but I don't want it to touch any of these solid black, I don't know, printout squares, because that's what we use to align it later. So now we're all set with that. Because I'm doing foil, so if you want to cut this, print this out in red, you're all set. I'm doing this in foil, so that means I'm going to be doing this on a laser printer. The foil reacts to the toner, and my laser printer is black. So we're going to go ahead, hold down Shift, and click all of these here. So basically all of our text, and we are going to change this to black. Now, my printer that I have only prints black, so it wasn't, it wouldn't make a huge difference. But just to make sure you have the heaviest saturation and the easiest to work with, you want to make sure you do that. So we have our names like this. I'm happy with this. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. So I have this lovely like off-white cream color that I'm going to print on. So I'm going to go ahead and print these, and then I'll be back to show you how to load it in and cut. Okay guys, and I'm also jumping back on here really quickly to show you what I did. So on my registration marks, I brought my thickness up pretty high. So I brought it up to 0.8, and it seemed to have worked well. So now I'm just going to retype my names. So we'll do Steph, Shane, Chelsea. So this name is big, so I need to bring this over, and I'm actually going to scale it down just a little bit. And the good thing is that because I don't need to weld this, because this is a printing cut, I can click on a font over here and see the default, which is 87, to set it back if I have a shorter name again. And then Michelle. So let's click bring that over so you can see that one needs to be shrunk down a little bit too. So now let's just kind of adjust all of these. Let's bring that over just a tiny bit. All right, so I'm going to print this, and then we'll go over and cut it. Here's my printed paper. I'm just going to bring this back over closer to me and line this up in the very corner. And I'm going to be gentle smoothing this because I think it's just the finish of this paper. The toner, the ink can kind of just flake off of this. So we're just going to go back, load it in. And then I'm just going to go over and hit cut on my computer. So that's good. It went to the next one. just going to unload, peel these up, and then let's go get ready to put our foil on. All right, so here are all of my tags. So one tricky part is that they are all curling up. I would like press this, but I don't want to risk the ink coming off on something. So I'm gonna go ahead, leave it right here, and just kind of hope for the best too. So we're gonna put a big piece of foil over everything. Typically you cut your foil to fit, but since I have so many here, I'm just gonna kind of put it over there. So I have my heat press set at 270 degrees. If you have a foiling machine, you don't have to do this part. You can just run it through the machine. So we're gonna go ahead, bring this down, and I'm gonna do this for about 10 seconds. And so the heat activates with the toner, and so the foil is going to stick to the ink on there. So when you lift this up, lift it up very gently. Foil needs to cool before you lift it off, and you don't want to disturb it like these were disturbed. So hopefully they turned out okay. So we're gonna let this cool a little bit. And there are a couple workarounds that I can show you if things get messed up like this. Typically, you won't have an issue like this. I suggest putting a piece of parchment paper on top, kind of doing some other stuff, but because I have so many, I went and just did it all together. Sorry about that, that was my dog. All right, so let's go ahead and lift this up. So these down here have a little bit of a better stick. I'm trying to lift it up so you can see. So if you look closely, you can kind of see the foil's like sucked into where the ink is. That's good, it means it has a good stick. So here's one, turned out really nice. This one turned out really nice. And look, they're kind of flattened out too. So let's go ahead and lift this off. So this one's pretty good. I can just leave it. Now we have this one that has little extras, so I can kind of very gently use my hand, kind of dust it in a way. Check it out. So we've corrected that one. We have this one right here. We're just kind of dusting like this. So you just want to be careful. You can take like a lint roller, or washi tape is good to get this off because it's not super sticky, but check it out. Also, like, guys, let's manage our expectations. These are also gift tags. So if they're not perfect, I really don't care because, you know, I just wanted to make them. I can't just go buy a pack from the store and just write my name on it, but I just want to do something fun. So we have that one. So we have this one. If you get little white parts, you might be able to see it a little bit in there. That's just like the foil sticking to itself. You can use washi tape or a lint roller and it'll come right up. And just dusting that off. And there we go. Okay guys, these are our foil tags, perfect for Christmas gifts. Super easy. This is a great use of the print and cut feature of the Silhouette Cameo, and we did this on the heat press. So if you're already using your heat press for your shirts, don't even worry about it. You can use your press for these as well. Now, if you are a big crafter and you have the Heidi Swap Mink foiling machine, then you're all set. You could use that or a laminator and you could get the same effect. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to us, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos.